Hey everybody, Chaz here. In this video I'm going to be talking about iOS 14, which was announced at WWDC 2020 yesterday alongside many other things, and I'm going to be looking at the devices it supports. So honestly, it's not actually different to iOS 13, but I do think it's important that I make a video on this. So first of all, I'm going to be looking at devices that will be able to run iOS 14. So iOS 14 will run on all the devices iOS 13 ran on. So the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and original iPhone SE will all run iOS 14, as will the iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, iPhone 8, and iPhone 8 Plus, as well as iPhones in more modern designs, so the iPhone 10, iPhone 10s, iPhone 10s Max, iPhone 10R, as well as the iPhone 11 series. These devices will all run iOS 14, and the iPod Touch 7th generation will also run it, and will be the only iPod Touch to run it. So the good news is iOS 14 runs on all the iPhones that could run iOS 13, which means the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and SE will all be able to enjoy the updates, so that's a good thing. Now let's look at iPadOS 14, which this honestly surprised me, as iPadOS 14 supports all the same devices iPadOS 13 did, which surprises me. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I do not expect the iPad Mini 4 to get iPadOS 14 due to its older chip, and also had my doubts about the iPad Air 2, but it appears all iPads that could run iPadOS 13 can also run iPadOS 14, so this means the iPad Mini 4 and iPad Air 2 can run iPadOS 14, as well as any newer models of iPads, so all the iPad Pros can run it, and the iPad Mini 5 and iPad Air 3 from last year can also run it, as well as regular iPads released in 2016 and later. And honestly, I can't actually wait to see how well iPadOS 14 performs on the iPad Mini 4 and iPad Air 2, because these devices have the Apple A8 and A8X chips respectively, and the Apple A8 was the same chip that powered the iPhone 6, 6s Plus, and iPod Touch 6th generation, which all lost support in iOS 13 due to the lack of RAM. So I'd honestly like to see how well the A8 series chips run iPadOS 14, and of course these iPads have 2GB of RAM, which makes a difference, but I am still interested in seeing how well it performs. But it's good to see nobody will need to buy a new device to run iOS 14 or iPadOS 14 this year, as long as their device supported iOS 13. And while I do expect iOS 15 to drop support for some devices, possibly even the iPhone 6s and original SE, which this does frighten me, to be fair, considering the newest iPhone I've got is the 6s, but it is good to know that iOS 14 will support it, and I will be doing a lot more videos on iOS 14 and iPadOS 14 in the coming weeks, and I hope I will be able to do a review soon, as I've downloaded the developer preview onto my iPhone 6s now, and so far it's running well, so I actually can't wait to review that on my iPhone 6s. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to be notified each time I upload. Anyways, have a good day. See you next time, and goodbye.